Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went there in the first place? I know I have, and I'm just a teenager. There are many reasons why this would happen to someone, and age is just one of the factors, which raises the question of what impacts our ability to remember. The brain's maximum capacity for memory is greatly influenced by sleep, age, food, and certain brain processes. To be able to better understand more about the brain's capacity for memory, it is first important to understand what memory is. Memory is a complex system that has multiple stages. Memory is a very big factor in our lives because without it, we wouldn't be able to learn anything new. We would repeat the same actions when faced with similar dilemmas and experience the same results over again. Recalling something in the past and learning something new seems to occur naturally. However, the brain is working away, filing those memories as they are experienced. One theory regarding memory, proposed by Atkinson and Shiffrin, is stage models, which outline 3 separate stages of memory: sensory memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory. Sensory memory is the first stage in the process that memories take. Sensory memory stores information in the surroundings, generally for no longer than a half second for visual information, and 3 or 4 seconds for auditory information. From there, some of the information that is thought about longer is moved into short-term memory. Short-term memory, also known as active memory, is what is currently being thought about and what the thinker is aware of. If we think about it longer and repetitively in the future, it turns into long-term memory. Long-term memories can be resurfaced when they are needed. However, there is a big difference between long and short-term memory besides how long those memories are remembered. With short-term memory, these memories can be recalled almost exactly as it was acted out, whereas when long-term memory is recalled, it is actually being reconstructed. The brain fills in the details that cannot be remembered. This process is called refabrication. It can be defined as the reconstructing of a memory from bits and pieces of truth. Therefore, long-term memory, which is stored for longer, is slightly faulty, but there are ways to help your memory stay intact and be more descriptive. The resources that are provided to the body from daily activities helps the brain stay active and focused for the day, including sleep and food. Sleep is an important part of memory storage. While we sleep, it gives the brain a break from operating the body. During the time that we're unconscious, the brain goes over the events of the day. Food also provides much-needed nutrients that the brain needs to function. The healthier the food is that the body ingests, the better the brain can process information. A study of 1 million New York students showed that those who ate lunches without additives such as artificial flavors, preservatives, and dyes performed 14% better in IQ tests. While an individual can, for the most part, control such resources, there are other factors, such as aging, that are out of their control. In the brain, there are these things called synapses that connect the cells. Synapses are formed while learning new things, but as we age, they become less reliable in retrieving memories. The area in our brain for storage and analyzing information loses a total of 20% of its nerve cells by the time we reach our 80s. With all the memory-based nerves slowly disappearing, memory begins to falter with age. The brain also shrinks as we age, making it less efficient. Some functions inside the brain also affect its performance. The performance of the brain is affected by the chemicals and functions in the confines of the gray matter in our skull. Dave Mosher, a science journalist, reveals that neurons can speak to each other to transfer the memories between themselves. The more memories there are, the louder the noise. The noise would eventually drown out the memories and distract the brain. The cells that hold the memories also need a protein called Krebs. Krebs affects the overall behavior of the nerve cells. If a cell is low in Krebs, it is less likely to keep a memory, but if the cell is high in Krebs, it is more likely to store the memory. The brain is also not used to its fullest. You may have heard that we only use 10% of our brain. That isn't necessarily true. The brain is being used 100%. It's only being used to a certain extent. Think of it this way. Let's say your brain is a stereo. When you are using your stereo, you are using 100% of it. Here is the X factor. If the volume knob is set at, say, a 2 level, then you are not getting the same usage when compared to turning the volume knob to an 8 or a 10. If the brain isn't being used at its highest level, how can we increase the capacity? Exercising the brain, believing in the brain's abilities, and using memorization skills can help increase the capacity in the brain. When the brain is being exercised, it encourages the development of new neurons. Some ways to exercise the brain is to do math without a calculator, sing along to songs, assemble things, and try to learn a foreign language. Not using a calculator to do math problems can increase the brain's reflexes. Try to remember the lyrics to a few new songs. It may take some time, but it's fun and helps the brain with memorizing information. While assembling items, the brain becomes challenged. A fun thing to do is trying to solve a Rubik's Cube. When learning a new language, we learn the different uses of words and sounds, which can also help people communicate with each other. If people think positive and don't believe that with age the brain gets faulty, then the brain is likely not to be affected as much when people get older. Chunking, mnemonics, and repetition are some memorization skills that can also help the brain. Chunking is grouping words or memories together with similar words or memories. Mnemonics is creating a poem with the first acronym of a group of words. An example is, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," for a math problem. Repetition is simply repeating a word, phrase, name, or problem over again until it is remembered. Although there are many ways to improve the productivity of the brain, there seems to be no real answer of what the maximum capacity the brain has. The brain is still an area in the human body that remains mysterious. There are many things that are known about the brain, but several more things that still need to be learned. Our memories are what makes us unique in ourselves. Many everyday events can affect those memories, and a change in a person's lifestyle can help to preserve our personality. Getting enough sleep, eating healthier, trying new things, and being optimistic are some of the ways that can help us achieve that. Next time, will you remember why you went into that room?